Hello, welcome back to my garage podcast. Uh, right now, I'm in my room, and it's kind of crazy. Not crazy. It's just weird to be back after taking my 2 week break and now going back to school. It's not really that hard because it's like I have like two classes right now. It's like ethnic studies and astronomy, but it's just kind of. I was expecting my break to be feel a lot longer. It was still fun because I got to hang out with friends and like be with my family and stuff. And those 2 weeks I really did enjoy because I was my last semester. It was really hard for me, or not really. Yeah, it was really hard for me. I had to do a lot more work, and I worked a lot harder last semester because I I was able to like focus and like do what I was needed of me, and then doing this podcast too, and just like all the other things that I was a part of, like my clubs, and then also like um filling out my applications to transfer, and that was really stressful. And then I got kind of an update about when I'm gonna know if I'm gonna be able to transfer or not, or most likely I will be able to transfer in April, like around April time, and kind of that's what like it was kind of in the back of my head for most of my break, but it was like I can't really control like if the person that looked at my essay and like my transcripts and like decide if sorry, let me just clean my glasses and decide if they want to let me in. So I kind of really have no control over that right now. So I'm just staying up to date with checking my emails all the time and like seeing any updates and like filling out any forms that they asked me to do. Like I sent my transcripts and just like some stuff for financial aid. And so I've just kind of been busy with that. Hopefully this semester it won't be as bad as last semester because last semester was very, as I just said before, it was very hard. Um, Now we're back to working on my podcast like daily and trying to focus, um, trying to keep up to date what's happening in the world and seeing what seeing um how the decisions at the Fed and like how the president directly affects the economy. And there's this week it was pretty big. Um, some information about jobs reports, um, and what investors have been putting their money into as of recently. Um, there's kind of been a subtle shift from sorry, there's kind of been a subtle shift from people investing in the sector to people um, shifting to like the defense sector because of a recent announcement that Trump has made. And I'll get shortly into that, like my opinion about that and just like kind of what I feel about it. But now that I'm now that I'm back, it just reminds me of like my goals that I set for myself and like what it is that I need to do. And like last week, from the 5th to the 9th, I was like, it was online school, so I don't like it's like set at my own pace. I just have assignments that I have to do, and then I do them, and then it was pretty like I could have just been at home and done it, but like I went to school to do my assignments, um, just so I can like I guess like focus and like get a different um, have like a different workspace, because for the most part um like when I'm at home I usually just like play video games or like do something like that. But like going into school, it was just kind of like a different environment and like kind of a different mindset that I needed to have for myself. And just like, oh, this is work mode, and I can't just like um, take a break every like 5 minutes and like go play with my dogs or like switch to whatever video game I'm playing. Um, but now that I'm back, it's just reminds me of like how much I'm gonna enjoy my summer. Um, cause over the summer I don't think I'm gonna take any classes, and then I'm just gonna over the summer I'm gonna work towards trying to get an internship for next semester or next summer, like in, and then hopefully get a return and like be able to get a job in something that I actually care about. Oh shit, my battery's low. Oh, didn't have me to say that. Okay, well, basically, let's get into this and kind of what's been going on this week. Oh, shoot. Let me make. That's probably really loud. Hopefully, it wasn't too bad. Let's get into what happened this week from January 5th to the 9th, over the week, because in short, like companies don't really operate over the weekends, or most companies don't really operate over the weekends. Um, as I said before, investors have been showing signs of investing in other sectors. This can be partially because um, Trump, on a Truth Social post, proposed to increase the military's budget, making it 1.5 trillion, more than a $500 billion. More than 500. This is more than $500 billion than the Pentagon was expecting, and seeing how much money they're gonna be getting if this proposal and it passes through Congress and just like all these channels, um, or right now, because people are expecting this is most likely to happen because of decisions that Trump has made, like especially right now where Trump is talking about, or where, oh my god, my weird dog looking at me so I can pet her. Um, um, well, basically because the U.S. took out Maduro, the president of Venezuela, in which they had a warrant since 2020. Um, and so Trump is upping the military presence around the world. And if this proposal is to go through, many will invest in the defense sector because of the ramping up production. It's not just weapons, but tools that are used throughout the military, like technology, just things throughout the military. And personally, I feel like Trump has been going against every point that he was running on. Trump said that he was going to take the U.S. out of foreign problems. He said that he wanted to improve the economy, and he said that he was going to release the Epstein files. And I understand the pushback and like why other presidents haven't taken it out, but also it was Trump's main point, and I could see a lot of people like why a lot of, like Republicans are getting mad with a lot of Democrats because where was this when Joe Biden was president, and why weren't they asking him to release the Epstein files? And I know this sounds really unprofessional, but I forgot the specific reason why. But I can also see that, but also because Trump is that was his whole campaign, and right now Trump said that he was going to take the U.S. out of foreign problems, but he put he he's gone directly against this, and this and he's conflicting this by intervening with Venezuela. It may be understood since 2020 they had a warrant for Maduro's arrest. The whole situation of it is very confusing. First, they wanted to arrest him because he wouldn't give up his seat of power, and and like things about the cartel and how Venezuela was producing fentanyl and like killing off American citizens. But the U.S. is putting sanctions. But this is very conflicting because the U.S. is putting sanctions on who the Venezuelans can sell their oil to, and this gives the idea that they want to protect that they don't care about the cartels, and all they care about is the oil. And I won't say that it's just Trump that that he's just been doing this. It's kind of been the story of the U.S. as a whole in 1953, where the CIA had a coup of the CIA put had a coup and put their own elected government head, and this led to many problems later on because of the the leader that the U.S. put of Iran got very became very authoritarian, and because of this, many Iranian citizens, right, many Iranian citizens were very upset about this, and they kind of this like this anger towards Western civilizations, and this kind of what would lead later to um, this would lead to later problems in which terrorist groups like ISIS um, gained power because they saw the people and they took that hate that they had. And I kind of see this being a similar situation where we're now taking out the people, the head, and now we took out the head of the Venezuelan government, and now the people, and it might not go the same way, but there's a potentiality that we're going to be in Venezuela for years and we're spending way more money than that could be used to help the everyday person with healthcare and things like that. And I see this problem with Venezuela as very conflicting, and I see it doing more harm than good. I think another problem too that the Trump administration has been fumbling on is the release of the Epstein files, and because they still haven't been fully released or they've been partially released but are heavily redacted, I can understand for legal reasons that there are certain people that need to be protected because of the law, or but the Department of Justice, who has access to these files, and the head attorney general, who directly answers to the president, can't can't release these files faster. It's very hard to believe, and even the files that are released, they're very redacted, and you just scroll through the Epstein files, and it's just pages and pages of like scrubbed out names, and it's just very troubling to see. And I feel like the Trump has only improved the economy for the top 1%. Things such as AI have been holding up the economy because the amount of investments that have been put into hopes of a good return. But other than that, unemployment has been rising and many Americans are struggling to survive. And then that's I kind of got off on a tangent there, but I'm getting back to what people have been switching to in the tech sector and kind of a little bit of a background on my personal opinions about it. As well because of the announcement that Trump has announced on Truth Social. Sorry, that's a little bit of a tongue twister. Um, Security companies such as Lockheed Martin and L3Harris rose 7.98% as of Friday, January 9th, and 9.2% respectively over the past 5 days. Even though investors have been moving to other sectors because of the announcement that the tech sector is gaining value. Sorry, taking a step back. I was reading too fast. Um, Even though uh, that other sectors have been gaining value, the tech sector is still on the rise. Alphabet, a tech company, is still up 3.59% over the past week from, as I said, January 5th to January 9th. Um, and in January, most investors watch closely and seeing how fast stocks go up and how fast they gain, because they believe that January is a good way to predict how stocks will move in the coming year. On Friday, um, I, I'll get later into this, but on Friday, the labor market is to re- release the jobs reports from December, and this will be used to determine how well the economy is doing. Um, this information will also be used to determine. This information will also be used when the Fed meets to determine whether or not there should be another rate cut and how aggressive that rate cut should be. Economists are expecting that 73,000 jobs will be added from 60 compared to 60,000 jobs created in November, and unemployment will go from 4.6% ticking down to 4.5%. Um, the Supreme Court is to potentially rule as well, like as well. In the coming weeks or in the coming days, the Supreme Court is to potentially rule on the legality of Trump's tariffs, determining if they're illegal or not. And this is still up to debate whether or not, or whether or not the Supreme Court is going to meet um, to, um, to decide if this is legal or not. But it's more than likely that's just going to happen in the next couple of days to weeks. Um, and more investors believe that the economy this year will see some improvement, which is which, if this is true, there can now be a case to be made that Trump has done some good for the economy and 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 increase the approval of Trump from for everyday citizens. And now there's going to be an argument against all the bad that can be seen, like his um the Trump administration's mass deportations and other things, but it can be seen that he was just doing this to improve the economy. But as of now, I don't really believe that's the case. And then today, I got information because on Saturday I don't really look up anything, but December's job reports reported that 50,000 new jobs were created, and this is slower than economists were predicting. 584,000 jobs were created in 2025, averaging 49,000 jobs per month. This is as slow as it has been in years. And this compared to 2024 when 186,000 jobs, there was 186,000 jobs average created per month, and this is not even half of it, it's like a quarter of this. This is a steep decline in the labor market. Jobs have also slowed down due to there being fewer people in the hiring pool because of Trump's administration. Trump's administration's large-scale deportations, drastically decreasing the amount of people that decreasing the amount of people that potential workers coming and distracted. I don't know, I mean, like a brain fart, but this because of the large-scale deportations. This is decreasing the amount of potential workers coming to the U.S. Since this information has come in, economists believe that the amount of jobs that needs to be created is much lower than before to keep the unemployment stable. So now, because the less amount of people that are coming to the country or now in the country, or that the average jobs per month doesn't need to be as large. For example, it can be like 100,000, and this is just a rough guess compared to 184,000 last year. And because of this, unemployment closed at 4.4% this year compared to last year where unemployment was 4.1%. And I'm just kind of sorry if this video kind of seemed unprofessional. I just need to get back into the groove of of working on my podcast, but I was kind of trying a different approach and just kind of seeing like making it less of a copy and paste of what I seen in an article and kind of making it more researched. So kind of keeping the information in my head is was hard, but um, um, I'll share I guess my sources right now. Um, um, for the unemployment stuff, I got it from an article in the Wall Street Journal. America's jobs market has entered the slow lane. And this is by Justin Lahart and Danny Daugherty. Okay, well, you can't really see it, but and information about the DOJ and who they directly respond to. I got that directly from the U.S. Department of Justice guide, and then the information on the warrant for his arrest was from the U.S. Department of State. Um, the bounty that they put on his head. Um, then the information about how the U.S. will control, um, how the U.S. put sanctions on on Venezuela, is an article by the BBC, and this is titled "U.S. will control Venezuela oil sales indefinitely," officials say, and this is an article by Natalie Sherman. And then information about Iran and kind of like how the U.S. influence um, Iran is a book called Confronting Iran, and it's a book by Ali M. Ansari, Ansary, bad. Um, and then information about how people have been switching to the tech sector is the stock market rally isn't just the title of the article is the stock market rally isn't just about tech anymore, and this is a article by Sam Goldfarb. Um, and then the last one about how on the ruling about um, if the tariffs are legal or not is an article by Reuters, and it's titled "Support Supreme Court Plans Ruling for January 14th as Trump's Tariffs Remain Undecided," and this is an article by Andrew Chung, and I guess this is the end of this episode. But I just want to say thank you guys, and please continue to disagree with me and give me more information. Thank you. Bye.